All right, welcome everybody. My name is Aaron Whittier. Excited for you guys to be here on a Saturday afternoon or morning or wherever you are, or maybe evening. Or if you get a hold of this replay, happy to have you checking out what we're doing here. You might have been invited here today or sent the replay from someone that is talking about these devices. Maybe they've had great results on using these different devices and different technology. So that's probably why you're here. Or you might have heard maybe someone that's doing really well financially, really quickly with this company. So whether you're here just to learn about the technology and the devices, or both, maybe you're looking for some extra income, we're happy you're here. So I'm going to get right into it. I'm just going to share my story a little bit later for those that want to hear it. But the company, if you haven't found out yet, is called Olylife. That's the name of the company. And when we grow up here, you guys all know that two big challenges no one prepares us for. It really is proactive wellness. In America, they don't really teach us how to take care of ourselves, right? So we're going to go through a little bit of that in strategic timing. Again, if you're looking for an opportunity, a way to kind of bring more money into the household, we have great timing here and real leverage as well. But let's first talk about proactive wellness. In America, and not just America, I think a lot of countries now around the world, we spend more on healthcare than any nation this in the history, really in America. And so why are we still getting sicker, right? Well, because we do it backwards, right? We spend a ton of money on prescriptions, right? We all know chronic illness is rising. I mean, it's going in with all our technology these days. Shouldn't it be getting better? That's what we have to ask ourselves, right? But there's no money in that, right? So, we talk about the North American wellness crisis, why health innovation matters more than ever. Because listen, we know what's happening. 42% of American adults are obese. A lot of us are less active, right? I mean, remember back in the 80s when we were always doing stuff outside, and our kids now are in front of screens on their phones. Us as adults, as we get a little older, we become inactive, right? So, we age quicker and increase chronic diseases, right? And like we talk about that third one there, we spend a lot of time just sitting, right? So also, 70% of adults in the US take at least one prescription drug daily. And over the lifetime, an average American will ingest 50,000 pills. And that's really, as we get older, we ingest more pills, right? Because we try to treat the problem, right? We prescribe the problem, and instead of preventing the problem, right? Instead of being proactive. And that's what's happening these days. You're going to see a lot more if you're checking this out for the first time. You're going to see a lot more in the next several years of these home devices, because listen, the global wellness industry, it's experienced massive growth right now. And a big reason of that is something called biohacking, which includes PEMF. We're going to talk about that, red light therapy, and recovery tech. And there's a major global shift in how people approach health right now. People want drug free solutions. The world's shifting towards prevention, not just treatment. And tech and health emerging. AI guided wellness tools. I mean, AI is really, instrumental in a lot of this stuff. At home devices replacing clinic visits. I mean, think about it. If you can just do your wellness at home and have the same results as going to maybe a spa or a doctor potentially, right? And why wouldn't you, right? So PEMF is now gaining momentum. What's driving PEMF growth the most? It's really our aging population, increased chronic conditions, and a demand for home use therapy devices, and growing awareness of alternative therapies. And that's where our company, Olylife, lives, is right there, where they work on the proactive model, support the body daily, improve resilience, and optimize function. And just a little background on the company here. The company is just over 3 years old. They have global headquarters in Singapore and in China. There's branch offices in Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, Hong Kong, and they're expanding now rapidly into America, South Korea, Canada, Japan, because of what these devices have done the last 3 years in Asia has really been mind blowing. There's advanced research and development. There's multiple countries that are instrumental in these devices. You got Sweden and Germany. You got made with advanced chips and rare metals from Japan. And there's thousands of global patents, European certificates. Basically, Olylife is dedicated to enhancing health and quality of life through the fusion of Olympic spirit and scientific health management. And the company focuses on wellness electronic devices. And we're going to go over a few of those here, but if you look at this, the company profile here, what they're doing and what they've done the last 3 years is really incredible. They're shipping to over 180 countries now, these devices. They're doing right now in sales 80 plus million per month just in Asia. And on the business side, they've created over 500 millionaires in just 3 years. And there's a big reason for those numbers there. And we have all the patents, over 180 global patents now with some of these devices. So the proof's in the pudding here, we like to say. And the scientific backing and global research here, the core technology philosophy is PEMF and terahertz. Now, what both of these do, some of you guys may have heard of PEMF. You can get PEMF you really from just grounding, putting your feet, walking barefoot on earth, right? But a lot of people don't get that nowadays because we don't really walk barefoot now, right? So we get this PEMF and terahertz combined. That's really the magic of why these devices are helping people so much. But if you look at what the therapy does, activates and revitalizes cells, promoting meridian flow, detoxification, helps with pain, inflammation, circulation. There's so many things that PEMF does. And I encourage you after this Zoom to go on to, either you can Google or you can do it much faster if you use like ChatGPT or some other AI and just do a search. What are the benefits of PEMF? And you'll see what it does, it's proved to do. Okay. So PEMF, pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, that's what that stands for, is originally developed by NASA. So support astronaut health in zero gravity environments. So encourages cell repair, regeneration, supports healthy circulation. It goes on and on and on. But here's some astronauts when they come back from space after being in space for quite some time. You look, they can't even stand up, you know. So they use this PEMF therapy to help them recover faster. And if you look at this here, the evolution of PEMF technology in the early 20th century, electromagnetic fields were introduced through electricity, radio, and modern tech. And then the mid to late 20th century, awareness grew of what EMF effects were. In the 60s and 70s was the discovery of PEMF, where they explored pulsed electromagnetic field as a way to support cellular health and recovery. That's when they were giving it to these astronauts. And then in the 2000s, PEMF and wellness, some places started popping up. A lot of athletes that had access to this stuff, the real expensive machines where they were, $20,000 or $10,000. And, people would go on and use this therapy or go to doctors and pay a lot of money for this therapy, but only the lucky ones, right? Or the wealthy ones had access to it. And frankly, our government and our just they didn't want us to know about it, right? Because if we could get therapy at home and then not have to go visit the doctor or take prescriptions, right? Potentially for certain ailments, why would they want us to have that, right? They wanted it to be a secret because that would hurt their bottom line, right? So fast forward to the 2020s, All Life Innovation. They advance PEMF and cutting edge user friendly devices designed to enhance everyday wellness. And that's where we sit right now. And that's why this company is just absolutely exploding right now. So the science behind terahertz, again, you can look at terahertz as well. And what it does activates cellular energy, improves blood flow. And I got to tell you, this one of these devices has really changed my life just in 3 weeks. So I'll tell you that story in a minute. But three facts: cell energizer boosts brain and nerve function, supports brain and mood as well. And here's some of our devices here, our state-of-the-art wellness devices. We got the P90, we got the Galaxy G1, H-Bar, the Bomber Air, Terra P90 Plus, which is a device that a lot of us have, and the Vitality One. And there's also some others here. The Shake and Massager, we have that as well. Some of you I know I love that machine. Coming soon, we get this Ollie Spring, which we're really, really excited about that. It's just going to be a device that's going to be incredible. And it's coming here hopefully this year. So all kinds of different things here, but the P90 here, what it does, and you put your feet on this device and it supports comfort, vitality, active lifestyle, does so many different things. just putting your feet on this device for 30 minutes. The P90 Plus you put on for 20 minutes. It goes up a little higher in levels. Also has some attachments here, as you can see in the middle of the screen there. The P90 Plus has a couple wands with red light therapy, has radio frequency, EMS, all kinds of different things. And what these devices are doing, I encourage you after this Zoom or after you watch the recording, talk to the person that invited you to this and get invited to our Facebook testimonial page. It's called Simplifying Wellness, and read some testimonials. I mean, these testimonials are absolutely incredible. We can't make medical claims, but you can see just using these devices and this technology, it's changing people's lives. It truly is making them feel better. And I want to do right now is I want to show you this video. This video here is someone that did a live blood analysis. That's just this person's blood under a microscope, how it's all clumped together, slow moving. Their circulation's not that great. This here is the results after a 20-minute PMF session.
Wow. That's amazing. That is amazing. Holy smoke. Look how separate they are.
I mean, look at the blood flow. Absolutely incredible, right? And that's probably a big reason why my circulation in my legs are not as heavy. I don't have pain at night when I lay down. I mean, it really truly is life changing, these devices. Just let's little shift it out to the global eye strain crisis. We all know that so many people are living with preventable eye strain issues. It's really the overexposure to blue light. All of us looking at our devices every day, right? Children are exposed to screens for 6+ hours per day. Prolonged exposure to EMFs. A lot of issues right now with people's eyes, but it's also we're aging, right? Our eyes are aging. So these Galaxy One, G1, smart eye massager, let me tell you, we just got this device. My family just got this about 2.5 weeks ago. Everybody in the family were fighting over it. My family just went away for the week yesterday, and of course they took them. So now I don't have them. But my wife told me that they were passing around the car on the drive down to North Carolina last night, and everybody's using them. But they really are incredible. It's designed to help reduce eye fatigue for screen time reading. Uses gentle massage. I mean, supports relaxation. Second time I used this, I fell asleep about 3 hours earlier than I normally fall asleep. Incredible technology. And this one here, we also have this. My daughter finally gave this to me yesterday. I told her she couldn't take it to North Carolina. We had this for, I don't know, a month and a half, 2 months, and I haven't used it yet. So I'm going to use it today. But this device here helps break down stubborn fat, helps with visceral fat around the midsection, encourages circulation and comfort, supports collagen and firmness, aids in performing improving skin appearance, stimulates human hand kneading. I'm excited to use this today. I know a lot of you on here, right? I've used this device. A lot of you have actually seen some inches come off your midsection just using this. Again, we can't make medical claims, but this device is the hottest device in our company right now. So there's a lot of different technology here, a lot of combined technology here. It's making these devices great. A lot of different devices to choose from. So I encourage you, if you're just taking a look at this, get back to the person that invited you on here and, find the Olylife device that fits your needs and take the first steps towards a healthier, happier you. So that's the part of the presentation here today that we want to share the devices. Now, if you're here today because you heard or you saw maybe some people that are just doing incredibly well financially in such a short time, I'm going to go through a little bit about what we're doing on the business side. Now, I will tell you, I've been in this industry now 30 years and had a lot of success over the years. It might have been sharing different products, different wellness things, but I was never in tech, never devices. And I got to tell you, this is the simplest thing I've ever done in my 30-year career. And frankly, I've never had such quick success in my 30-year career as well. And I think there's a lot of reason for that. It's really because this simple system, it's because of the timing of these devices, timing of the technology, it's advanced technology, and people are aging, right? A lot of people are aging out. They have a lot of illnesses they want help with. And people are tired of going to the doctors. A lot of people don't trust doctors anymore, right? So really the timing is absolutely incredible. And my quick story, I was invited to a Zoom over a year ago by a gentleman that I know very well. He had a friend in Taiwan that I knew briefly. We jumped on a Zoom, saw these devices, saw the whole compensation plan, how they were doing it, and frankly, I was shocked. I really was shocked of how well these devices were doing for people, how much money people were making that quick, and the simplicity of it. But it just wasn't the right time because it wasn't ready here in the U.S. They were trying to branch out to the U.S. because the company was doing that year. They did 1 billion in sales in Asia, and they were trying to break into English-speaking territories, Australia, Europe, America. But they really didn't have any materials. It was all in Chinese and different Asian, languages. So my buddy reached out to Tuan um, and showed us this. But again, it wasn't ready. It wasn't ready for me because it took 2 months to get the devices once somebody ordered it in America. They didn't have any credit card processing. It was all done through crypto, and they didn't really have any warehouses here yet, so it wasn't the right time. So my my good friend Tuan decided to take a position with the company, and he passed it off to his friend to do all the English speaking material. And his friend joined and had incredible success. And that's kind of how it all started. About 3 months after our Zoom, this gentleman in Taiwan called my friend Tuan and said, "Do you see what's happening in your business?" Because he had no idea. He wasn't really building the business, but his partner was, and they were having incredible results, making a lot of money. So they really looked into it and saw that it was very different than they've done in the last 25 years in the industry. There was no auto ship, meaning you didn't have to keep buying products to stay qualified in the compensation plan. The device was very demonstratable. And these devices really replaced all the other health nutritional products they ever marketed because it really works a lot of different ailments. So, not that all those health nutritional products aren't great. Okay. There's a lot of them that are great that you want to keep using, but this device did so much. So, they started building it quietly, and they had tremendous success. And they kept reaching out to me every month saying, "Aaron, we're doing this, making this much money." And I never got started because it just wasn't the right time. It wasn't in the US yet. They were building it in different countries. And in January, I saw a post on Facebook from both of them, his wife, Van and Tuan. And they said they were been building this business kind of back behind the scenes, and their team did 10 million in sales in just 8 months. And I called them up. They were in China, and they were touring the home offices and all these different offices in Asia. And I said, "Why'd you post on Facebook?" And they said, "Well, we're going to call you when we got back from Asia. We got 2 warehouses that are stocked in America. We got credit card processing, and they're building a home office in California. They're ready to explode America, and we're going to come home and take it over." And I was like, "No way." So I did join. That was January 24th. It was just over 90 days ago. And what's happened has been incredible. I mean, there's a lot of people on this Zoom right now that have had tremendous success, made more money in their first 30 days than they've made in the industry in 25 years. It's just very simple. People are getting incredible results. But why this business is a home run, like we talked about, it's demonstratable and you can feel it working. And it's not a huge lifestyle change. So you talk about timing in any industry, any business, right? The key to business success is seizing the right moment. Timing truly is everything. I've had a couple home runs in this industry in 30 years, and a lot of it was due to timing. And if you look at, every company, every business goes through three phases: the startup phase, the growth phase, and the stability phase. The growth phase, usually that's where companies fail. This company, they did $1 billion a second year in business. They're crushing it in Asia. Their startup phase is over. Now we're into growth phase. We're just brand new to the US. So the timing is incredible, and we're getting ready to explode now. Is it growing fast already in just the 90 days I've been involved? Absolutely. The word is spreading like a wildfire. It's crazy, but we haven't hit momentum yet. But that's where a lot of the money's made. That's where a lot of the opportunity is if you go to people before they know about it, right? Before it gets to the stability phase where everybody knows about it, everybody has a device in their home, right? Can you still make money? Sure, but it's a little more difficult, right? So we're here at the beginning of the explosive growth phase, right where you want to be when you're really joining any business, if that's what you choose. So seizing the right moment. The global entry right now, the entry to get in the business is just buy a device. Okay, $1,000 device will get you in the business, can be used by the whole family. There's no auto ship, there's daily payout, high retention and satisfaction through product quality and results. What does that mean? Well, that means when someone gets a device, they start using it. they want to get another device and another device and another device, right? So because they love the technology, and you can get started really one of three ways: $1,000 worth of products, $2,000 worth of products. And if you're, like a chiropractor or a spa, or someone that's going to do trade shows and you want to get more products, you can get $6,000 worth of products. But you kind of get in where you fit in. Okay. Now, like we talked about, there's no auto ship, no subscription. You don't have to pay to be in this business. There's no joining fee. Everybody that gets a device is in the business, whether they want to be or not. Now, do they have to do the business? Do the business? No, they don't have to do the business. They can if they want, but there's no extra money to do the business. That's what's great about it. You can build international teams. There's passive potential as well. So let's get into like the structure here. Now, some of you may have heard of a binary comp plan. I know a lot of you have. These are the fastest, most, kind of, most enjoyable comp plans, I think, because it can grow really quick. You can help each other in these comp plans. So you build two teams, a left and a right leg, and you place new affiliates on each side, one leg or the other. And the first person you bring on, the first device you share, goes on your left side. So let me show you how this works. So let's talk about something I've never seen in the industry before, and I guarantee you haven't either. Okay. So when you come in, let's say you come in for $1,000 purchase, and you get placed in that binary compensation plan, you get placed below, you go to the next spot in the tree, and you're placed below somebody. Now, that person you're placed below, if that person above you makes $1,000, you're going to make 5% of their income until you three times your buy in. What does that mean? If you come in for $1,000, you can make up to $3,000 off the income of somebody you're placed below. So if someone above you in the binary makes $10,000, you make $500. And the person below you makes 5% of what you make. Pretty incredible. Never seen anything like this. If you come in for a little higher, $2,000, you make up to $6,000 off what someone's making above you. So there are people that just bought the device, that wanted the results from the device and the technology, that are making 5% of someone that's actually out there sharing these devices with people. It's pretty incredible. Never seen that before. There's also a way we get paid where if you go out and you share a device with somebody, let's say $1,000 device, is what we call 750 point value. You get 10% of the point value. So in this case, you make $75 when you go out and share a device. If you share a device that's $2,000, that's 1,500 point value. You'd earn $150, and $6,000, you'd earn $450. Now, let's get into something that really shocked me and Twan the first time we saw this, and this is what we call a tier bonus. I've never seen anything quite as powerful as this, and frankly, this is the reason why so many people are making so much money so quick with our company now. So let's talk about when you come in and you share the business or share the devices with two people. Okay, let's say A1 and B1. You put A1 in first, goes on your left, and B1 goes on your right. Well, you're going to make what we call a tier bonus. The first person on your right, first person on the left, you make $375. If that both of those people come in for $1,000 device, you make a $375 tier bonus. And then let's say A1 that you brought in brings in A2, and B1 who you brought in brings B2 in. You didn't bring either one of those people, but you got to make another $375 bonus if both of those people come in for 1,000. And it keeps going. Every new level, the first person on each level, you're going to make a tier bonus. Pretty incredible. And it goes higher, actually. If both people come in, A and B, for $2,000, which a lot of people are getting the P90 Plus, which is $1,500, and the Galaxy G1 goggles we talked about, which is $500, that's $2,000. If both people come in for that, you're going to make a $750 tier bonus. And if you bring in two people that maybe two chiropractors on the same level, they come in for $6,000, or someone that just wants to get a lot of devices, you're going to make $2,250 on that level for a tier bonus. Now let's show you exactly the power of how this works. I've never seen anything like this in 30 years. So let's talk about my sponsors, Twan and Van. They're actually, going to be the first millionaires in America, and it's really close. I talked to them yesterday. Well, they're out there sharing this with everybody. And let's say, and I'm out there, they brought me on board. I'm out there sharing this with people because we're really excited about this. We want to help a lot of people. And let's say you come on board. Let's say I sponsor you. You came on board. That's you right below me. And while you're, just logging into your website, you just got started, Twan and Van actually bring someone on board that goes below you on your left side. Now you didn't bring that person in, right? You're just logging into your website, you're waiting for your device to come to you in the house, and then I bring someone on board that goes to the next spot below that spot. So you have two people in team and you never even did anything yet. And then you follow the simple system. You send a picture of the device to somebody and say, "Hey, have you seen this device yet?" And they say, "No, what is it?" And you say, "Hey, it's a PEMF device." And they go, "What's that?" And you go, "Hey, just use ChatGPT or whatever AI and look up what are the benefits of PEMF." Now, when they do that, they're going to see everything you see. It's all positive. Helps with circulation, helps with inflammation, all these different things. And they're going to get excited because most likely they probably have some kind of ailment. So while they're looking that up, right? You all this are sharing, right? And let's say they come back to you and say, "You know what? I want to get this device." Well, you bring your first person on board, they go to the next spot down there. Well, let's say everybody that we bring on board in this scenario gets $2,000 worth of devices. The P90 Plus and the Galaxy G1, let's say. Now, again, you're going to make a $150 tier bonus when you bring your first person in that buys $2,000 worth of devices because it's 1,500 in PV. You make 10%. So that's a $150 performance bonus. And then you share it with somebody else and you bring the first person on your right side, and that sparks a tier bonus. That tier bonus is $750. And you're also going to get another performance bonus of $150. And then what happens is your first people, Tuan's first person brings someone down the left, and then my first person brings someone down the left side, and then your first person brings their person down the left side, and then another person brings somebody in. So you brought one person on that left side, but now you have seven people down that left side, but you only brought in one person. And then you bring in your third person. You get another $150 tier performance bonus and another $750 tier bonus. And then you bring in your fourth person that goes on, you put them all on the left side of your right side. There's a reason for that. Your fourth person comes on, you get another tier bonus, another performance bonus. And then what happens is your second person brings in their first person that goes on the left automatically. And look at that. You didn't bring either one of those people on that level into the business, but you still earned a $750 tier bonus. And then your third person brings in their first person, you earn another tier bonus. Then you bring in your fifth person, you make another performance bonus, another tier bonus. And then you bring in your sixth person, and that happens again. And in this scenario, you brought in six people. But you got a $150 performance bonus from all those orders. You made $900. And you got seven tier bonuses equaling $5,250. And you earned over $6,000 in this scenario. And you brought in six people. Have you ever seen anything quite that powerful? I've never seen anything. This is why a lot of the people on here today have made $5,000 or $6,000 the first 30 days in this business, just sharing the picture of the device or posting on social media a picture of the device saying this device is incredible, and people are curious and people want this device. It's life changing. It really is. In addition to that, when you have all this volume come in, this 1,500 in PV times seven devices, seven people, that's 10,500 PV on each side. What does that mean for you? Well, they have another way you get paid, a residual piece that actually get paid, where once you hit the first rank called M1, you share in 5% of the company's annual revenue once a year. And when you get 10,000 on the left and right, you get one share. And by the way, a neat thing about this company is unlike other companies where when the month ends and the month begins, your volume goes to zero. How many guys have experienced that, right? That doesn't happen here. Your volume just keeps building and accumulating. So when you hit M1, you get one share, and then you hit M2, you get two more shares in this global pool. So this is incredible. Only thing you have to do to keep that is just bring on one device per year. That's it. Again, no auto ships, no qualifications, nothing like that here. Very, very different. Very simple. This business, like I told you before, is the simplest thing I've ever done. The timing is the best I've ever seen. The devices, the technology is incredible. It's changed the way I feel and so many others feel. We have another presentation tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern on this same link. So I would encourage you, if you're someone that says, "Hey, this looks really, really cool," get started because people are getting started like crazy every day and the word's spreading. Now, is it huge yet in America? No, we just got here, but it's going to be. Trust me. I lost out on someone I should have talked to 2 months ago, but I waited. And they're a pretty good networker out there. So I don't want you to lose out on people. So I encourage you to get started, get the device, and then invite some people back here tomorrow night at 8 p.m. We're gonna have another one Monday at 8 p.m. and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 9 p.m. and then next Friday at 1 p.m. So you have a lot of chances to really explode your business here because you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. So get back to the person who invited you on here or share the recording with you and get started, get your questions answered. And I want to be the first one to welcome you here to Olylife and Team Impact. You guys have a great Saturday. Take care and take charge, everybody. Bye bye, everybody.